Welcome to soccersmarttraining.com, the only online cognitive coaches soccer diploma course on the internet. Today's video focuses on deliberate practice, the use of deliberate practice for learning technique and skills. Enjoy the video. When we talk about deliberate practice for learning skills, it goes in a number of phases. First, it's very important to break down the skill into smaller pieces. You're going to train those smaller pieces till eventually you go from part to whole, till you put them all together. You want to train at a slow rate fast so you can concentrate on your technique and analyze your technique. If you rush through your technique and don't analyze it as you learn it, it's not going to be correct. Next, everyone can use the help of a highly qualified master coach who can give them feedback on their technique. Next, when you're learning a skill, in this video I give the scissors move as an example. And you learn it with no pressure, then you learn it using cones, and the cone forces you to execute the technique with the proper speed, timing, and understanding of angles as well. And then you can move on to low pressure and partial pressure. After partial pressure, you move on to about 70% pressure, and then after that, you can move on to full pressure. I actually don't show you all that in the video, I just take you through the first couple stages. After full pressure, you'll actually put them in game situations and real games to test out the techniques that they've learned. Really, the last part of this whole phase is when you're able to know the skill and adapt the skill and make the right decisions with the skill. So basically using strategy after you learn the skill, putting it into a game situation where you can make the right decisions, use strategy, adapt the skill, because it's not like you're just going to be dribbling at a cone using the skill. You have to adapt all the time because games are not like dribbling into cones. In this first example, you could see dragging the toe behind the ball and making that scissors move around. Drag the toe, scissor around the ball, and that plant leg should be bent just like a spring coil ready to go the other direction and shift. So again, as you can see, now it's continuous scissors. Again, this is only part, so this is part to whole learning. Now I added a little drag across the body, so I drag the ball across the body with the inside of my foot, because most moves, when you learn them, are going to be done at an angle. This is now doing the ball, just practicing alone, putting the whole technique together. Now we add cones. I have to execute the proper speed, angle, and timing with the cones, or else it won't work out correctly. This is more difficult than it actually looks and much harder than just practicing alone. The next phase would obviously be working on low pressure, partial pressure, 70% pressure, and then full pressure, then putting it into the game. There's also something that we talk about in the course called rapid skill acquisition, which we didn't quite touch on, but goes hand in hand with deliberate practice. If you're going to learn a technique, should you learn 10 techniques in a week, or should you learn 2, or should you learn 1? What is the way that you put the techniques into your long-term memory? If you learn 20 techniques in 1 week, what are the chances of that technique going into the long-term memory? Very, very few. Total immersion into that technique is something that we'll talk about in rapid skill acquisition. But just to sum up with deliberate practice, part to whole training, going slow, paying attention to the technique, feedback of a master coach, and then obviously the last stage is going to be, after you could do it in a game, can you strategize and make the right decisions? Thanks for watching.